Well, we're here, guys, and it's just after 10 o'clock. Nice, relatively easy launch. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just doing a little scan to see what I can see, if anything at all. Got a nice hot cup of coffee, and I have been looking around at some bodies of water in and around Cape Cod. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the state record, largemouth bass. Here's the story so far, and then I'll catch you up to speed with the information that I just learned. 1975, out here on Cape Cod, there was a man named Walter Balonis who had caught a 15.8 pound largemouth, or so he claimed. Now, that body of water has been debated greatly. The body of water that I'm on is in that debate. I think that this is probably the body of water where most likely you would find a fish of an amazing caliber. Now, Walter had submitted this record. The state held it for the last 50 years. And it was claimed that he caught this fish through the ice, as if, like, that weren't amazing enough. I don't know all the details about it. It was 50 years ago. There's a lot of debate. People talk about this in Massachusetts all the time, about how there's no way out of the pond that they claim it was caught in that could support that size of fish. I just kind of accepted it as... that's what the state said. Like, I'm just going with it. Well, this week, there's a little bit of news that came out. There's one person that kind of reported on the story, had an eyewitness who was there. At the time, this individual was just a kid, 12 years old. His family, I guess Walter was either a friend of his father's or a friend of the family somehow, something like that. And it came out that that fish actually came from Florida. Apparently, what happened was Walter was on a trip in Florida and was fishing and caught an absolute giant largemouth. That 15.8 pounder would have, I guess at the time, broken the Florida state record. But what Walter did was he took that fish and he put it in a 55-gallon tank in his van. And he drove that fish all the way up to Massachusetts. Now, the way the story goes, this gentleman who had discovered this had actually seen firsthand this fish in the tank. What this individual is claiming is that no, that fish is not legitimate. It is not an actual state record because it was caught in Florida. So what does that mean? Number one, it means, like, it raises a lot of questions. What's the state going to do about that record? There probably have been other fish that certainly could have been the state record, but odds are the anglers who caught them never entered them, simply because there was already this mark at 15.8 pounds. Who knows? So that's up to the state to decide. What I think is interesting is that now my goal has shifted from wanting to break the largemouth state record for Massachusetts to now just wanting to set it. And it means that it could be done. I don't know what the number is necessarily. I have a number in my head. I have met, because of the channel, because of the podcast, I've met a lot of really amazing anglers that catch absolute giants, and I've seen pictures of monsters that are in bodies of water that aren't even out here in the Cape necessarily. But the reason why Cape Cod is so special for these large fish really has to do with the herring run. It's got a lot to do with it. There is so much more bait out here that these fish are able to feed on. I'm out here now, and all the rest of the state is pretty much skim ice. And people will be ice fishing in all different parts of the state. I'm out here right now, and we're less than a week away from Christmas. Open water, water temps here at 39 degrees. We just have to kind of take that information for however much it's worth and apply it to the new pivot and goal. I don't want to say that we're necessarily going to set that record today. I very well might not catch fish, but what I'm here to do today is to just graph this body of water and get to know it a little bit more. You know, start to kind of actually understand it a bit and do a little bit of learning, you know, and see what we can come up with. I'm just doing side scanning right now, just looking for points of interest, you know, in some of this deeper water. And there is a river that feeds this that does have a herring run on it. You know, I mean, the bait is here. It's a big part of the reason why I'm here, but it's a relatively like good sized body of water. It can support a ton of life. There's a couple other spots in this part of the state that could produce significant fish, and we're just gonna have to experiment a little bit. But so I think, if nothing else, while I was a little bit disheartened to know that was a falsified fish, I do feel very good knowing that I could set the goal. I could set the record. Maybe that's the right way to look at this. I don't know. Leave a comment. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Is this insane? I mean, I know I'm crazy. I know it's very unlikely, you know, and I know, and the goal isn't even necessarily to do it, but really the goal is to just try. Get out there and put it on paper. Well, I'm going to keep scanning. I'm going to keep looking around, and I will probably do some fishing if I find anything of interest, and we'll just kind of see what happens.
Running down the alley, not a clue where I'm going. Shadows in the moonlight, all the secrets they're showing. The city never sleeps, it's got a heartbeat of doom. I'm chasing the devil all through the gloom. I got a pocket full of dreams, they keep me alive. Whispers in the darkness tell me not to survive. The night is cold and bitter, but it fuels my fire. I'm chasing the devil on a burning wire.
And I'm just gonna cover this area here because I feel like this might be the fucking move. Subtle, you know, subtle for sure. Right now, anything that I seem to be marking is right up against the bottom, and I'm throwing a drop shot right now with like maybe an 8-inch amount of space between my weight and my hook, so it's pretty much right there. I'm definitely feeling some rocks over here, nothing like I was more shallow, but it's definitely more hard bottom over here, and this is about 7.5, 8 foot for the most part. The marks that I have found, though, just nothing's paid off. Not a single bite. Just about 1 o'clock right now. I want to be off the water realistically for about no later than about 2:30. So I think what I'm going to do is fish the rest of this area over here. I've never fished this before. I did a pretty good amount of scanning. I will probably just zip right back. And this will be a pretty short trip, but I'm going to fish with one of these finesse swim baits right here. This is from Biz, and it's a color that I like specifically for lakes and ponds in this area, because it's got a good kind of like herring sort of look, and it's compact. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, I think. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up shortly. Okay, guys, so fished around this area, came back around, covered a bunch of water with this little finesse swim bait here, just seeing if I could just find a bite anywhere, and if I could, then fantastic. If not, which is kind of how it played out, we got nothing. So it is what it is. I came back over to this rocky area because I wanted to see if I could approach it and find those rocks where they were deepest. And I was throwing around this little finesse jig right here. This is an HH Customs PWR WX, or PWR rather XT, and I've just got a curly tail grub on here, and as a trailer, and I started casting, way kind of out like where that island is over there, and I just started working my way over till I found the rocks. And once I started to feel the rocks on the bottom, I started working my way in. I got all the way up right onto the bank, and nothing, not a single bite. This is the area about where I was marking fish, and they were way, way, way on the bottom. And I thought maybe I could find more active fish near the rocks where maybe they were holding a little bit of heat and the water was possibly a little bit warmer, but no go. So we're gonna wrap things up. I'm gonna head over to back to the launch, get things packed up, grab a bite to eat on my way home, and yeah, we'll go ahead and get to it. But definitely was good coming out and at least doing some scanning and stuff. I've never ever fished this area before, and once I kind of stumbled on it, I kind of see why maybe this is something I should target more regularly, because it's got a whole lot of good stuff going on as far as weed lines. It's got some hard bottom. It's also got it's pretty shallow back here. Like, you got to get out there a little bit to get into that super deep stuff. But we'll see ya.
I've spent too long running with a midnight at my back, a loaded gun, a reckless choices, and no way to change all that. But maybe grace ain't for the perfect. Maybe heaven's doors are wide for the broken and forgotten, the ones like me who tried. What kind of bounty, Jesus, is hanging on my name? Am I worth a sinner's ransom, or too far gone to save?
Man, that was cold. Like crazy cold. I got everything that I needed for today. I scanned a bunch of new areas that I've never been to before. Scanned a bunch of the old stuff to confirm some of like my suspicions. I learned a couple of things about that stuff, but I uncovered a whole bunch of this body of water that I never really never really knew about before. I found one area of rocks and some weeds that I think could be really great with access to deep water, some really big drop-offs. I found fish today. I found the wrong fish today. They were all on the bottom. They were not willing to eat a damn thing. Threw a jerkbait at them. I threw a drop shot, I threw a finesse jig, and I threw a finesse swim bait, as well as a more finesse or a more subtle spinner bait as well. And man, they just didn't want anything, nothing that I was serving up anyway. I'm gonna go and grab something to eat before I hit the road and make the drive back to Western Massachusetts, and we'll see you guys. Your boy went all sushi today. Probably overdid it. Probably could have gotten away with just doing 2 rolls. I had to fill my fat face with 3, like a real degenerate piece of shit. Delicious, nonetheless. JD's, you never let me down.